Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. My name is Ada and today we will be discussing a very important topic, not the financial crisis in the United States, but even more important than that, even more crucial, the Premier League and my take on who I think will win the Premier League, who will be relegated, and who will finish in the top four, things like that. Okay, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So currently, when we look at the Premier League table, Arsenal is at the top of the league, which I'm happy about because I'm an Arsenal supporter. So they are at 18 points, I believe, and they've played 18 points, and they have played some great football this season. Their attack with Gabriel Jesus is amazing, and the pieces around him, Saka as well, and Odegaard have been amazing this season. Obviously, that's why they're on top of the table after, I think, 8 weeks. After them is Manchester City. So Manchester City, last year's champions, are, of course, one of the favorites to win it again this year. They added a very huge weapon in Erling Haaland, and he's been going absolutely insane in the Premier League. He scored, I think, 12 goals in 8 games or something like that. 12 goals, he's on top of the league for scoring, and he's leading this Manchester City side. Obviously, they have the likes of De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, Ederson's at goal, and very solid defense, attacking, classic Manchester City, basically last year's team with the addition of Haaland, and you can probably guess what that will mean. So after that comes Tottenham right now, currently sitting in 3rd place. They are also at 17 points, tied with Manchester City, and that's really no surprise. Son is back. He scored, I believe, 2 goals last week, and they have a very dynamic team, very quick, fast-paced team, great defense, and all around they have been pretty solid. Last year, at the beginning, they actually struggled, and they were towards like the bottom. They picked it up, and they finished towards the top last year, hence why they're in the Champions League this year, and why they are sitting in 3rd place and only 1 point behind 1st place currently after 8 weeks in the Premier League. 4th right now is a super shocker for me. It is Brighton. So Brighton have started off very strong. They are at 13 points, so a couple points behind 2nd and 1st place. But being that it is Brighton, a team that no one expected to be in the top 4, even only 8 weeks into the season, I would say that this is an immense success for them. So congrats to them. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super sure about their team, how well they are and how well they play, but from just like the stats, they've conceded 8 goals and only scored 8 goals. So obviously they don't score a lot of goals, but they also haven't conceded that many goals. So I think that's a plus, that they obviously have a solid defense, solid foundation. But I don't think that this is going to last very long. Just seeing how many goals that they've scored this season, eventually teams will start scoring on them. A lot of the better teams like Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, they will start scoring on them. And if they can't keep up, which is what it looks like right now with the amount of goals that they scored currently, I don't know if they can hold the top 4 or 5 spot in the Premier League. So I do see them falling mid-table, but I still think they're a solid team. They traded away Cucurella, which was big for them last year. They traded him to Chelsea actually, and it's good to see that him leaving hasn't made a very negative impact on Brighton, and they are still 4th. And then going into 5th place is currently Manchester United. They started off the season horribly. I'm sure you all know. They went, I think, 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 maybe. Started off terribly. They picked it up finally with new manager, a couple of new players. Casemiro especially, I think, has been huge for them. And the addition of Maguire going to the bench, as funny as that is, has been very good for them because ever since Maguire's been on the bench, I don't think that they've lost even once. I think they've had 3 wins and 1 draw in their last 4 matches. So that does it for the top 5 currently. And obviously I'll get into who I think will finish in the top 5. And so if you see me looking over here, I'm just looking at my computer because I'm looking at the current standings and the current situation in the Premier League. So that's what I'm looking at. 6th is Fulham. I think that they'll drop. Mitrovic is playing amazing right now. I think he's like 2nd in scoring behind Haaland. He's played great, but I don't think Fulham can keep up with the scoring. I think Mitrovic will probably score a lot of goals this season, but I don't think it'll be enough because he's like the only one that really scores in abundance for Fulham. So I think they'll finish. I don't know if they'll get relegated. They might be in the 16-17 range, or potentially get relegated. And then 7th is Chelsea right now, sitting at 10 points. Right behind them is Liverpool. So both of these clubs have started the season very badly compared to what we expected. Chelsea has made a lot of transfers, the likes of Koulibaly, Sterling, like I said, Cucurella, a bunch of others, and they sent away Lukaku back to Inter. And we thought that they would start off well, but they just sacked their manager like 4 games into the season, Thomas Tuchel, and their new owner is, interesting to say the least. He has some new ideas, but I don't think he's really focusing on winning games and rather focusing on marketing Chelsea rather than focusing on the league. So I think that's a major problem, but I do see them picking it up because I think they're way too talented to not finish in the top 5. I don't know if they'll be in the top 4 and get Champions League qualification, but I do see them at least in the Europa League, where Manchester United is currently at 5th place at least. And then 9th, Liverpool. They start off very poorly. I do think, like, similar to Chelsea, even more than Chelsea, Liverpool is way too talented of a club to not finish at the top of the table. Last year, they were like 2 points away from winning the championship against Manchester City. And I think when it's all said and done, I'll just say it now, I do think that the top 3 will be Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. I don't think that Arsenal will unfortunately win the league. It is a long season, and they have not shown the ability to win against bigger clubs. The one really big club that they've played so far was Manchester United, and they lost 3-1 against that Manchester United, which they picked it up now, but even then that was like a really poor Manchester United side, and Arsenal should have won that game. They lost 3-1, and so I don't think that they've proven that they can win against bigger clubs recently. So I think that will be their ultimate downfall. Either Arsenal or Tottenham will be in the top 3, I think. If not, the other one will be 4th. Like I said, I think Chelsea might eke out a spot in the top 4, but it's tough really because Tottenham's a lot better this season. So is Arsenal, mainly Arsenal. Manchester United, I don't know. I honestly don't know where they're going to be. I don't think they'll win the league or be 2nd. But I don't know, between 3rd and like 8th is really, not 8th, but like 7th is their standing, I think. Very up and down, and it just depends on how well their players perform. Ronaldo hasn't really done much this season, so it depends on how well he performs and how much they're going to focus on the Premier League compared to the Europa League. Maybe they'll put everything towards the Europa League so they at least get a championship trophy this year, and then not focus too much on the Premier League side of things. But we'll see. And then when it comes to the rest of the table, teams like Brentford, Newcastle, Leeds, Bournemouth, Everton, Southampton, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Wolves, West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Leicester City. So Leicester is currently 20th with 1 point. I think they'll go up. They just started off terribly. Their management is in shambles, I think. If they fix that, they won't get relegated. I don't think so, but obviously it could happen. I do see Everton and Nottingham Forest, and like I said, Fulham potentially in the relegation zone. Even though they started off well, Nottingham Forest actually hasn't. They only have 4 points. They've made a gazillion transfers, I think 16 in total or something like that, but they just can't seem to figure it out currently. Obviously, they've only played 7 games this season, so they have a long time to go. They have 30 plus games to play still in the Premier League alone, let alone all the FA Cups and all the other matches that Premier League players tend to play. So they have a long ways to go and a while to figure it out. But I think that the way you start is really the way you finish. So if you start off losing a bunch of points, it's going to be really hard towards the end. If you play teams like City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, and they're eking out and trying to eke out top 4 spots to get into the Premier League, so they're going to be on their top game. Nottingham Forest had to look for chances to beat these higher level teams early on in the season when they're not fully prepared. And so I think that waiting till the end of the season will be their downfall. So I think they have to pick it up or they will get relegated. And like I said, for teams like Brentford could potentially get relegated, but they are doing well now. I don't see them getting relegated, but potentially in the 16-17 range. Wolves, I think, will pick it up and be better. Crystal Palace will stay around, I think, the 12 to 15 range. They're currently 16th. I think they'll be bumped up a little bit more, but not too much. Aston Villa, Southampton stay in the 11 to 15 range as well. And then when I look at Newcastle, Leeds, West Ham, I think will go up towards the 8 through 10 spots. And like I said, Fulham, I feel like is going to come down. Wolves will go up, kind of switch spots. I don't think they'll be 6th, but I think Liverpool and Chelsea will soon catch their form, get their stuff together, and go up in the rankings. Manchester United is really a mystery as to how they'll perform any given week, and I think it's pretty dangerous. Obviously, you have to be consistent, and I don't know if they have that consistency, so I think that they'll fall. Everton, like I said, sadly, will probably be either in relegation or be very close to relegation, but right now they're doing fine. They're at 13th spot at 7 points, so they're doing okay for now, but I just don't see the scoring needed. Obviously, this is all speculation. It could go anywhere. Manchester United, for all we know, could win the Premier League, or Fulham might finish in the top 4 and go to the Champions League next season. All this is speculation from what I've seen, from the stats that I saw. Obviously, I haven't watched every single one of these teams. It's just a lot of speculating and predictions, obviously off of stats and from highlights and games that I've watched and seen and heard of. But who knows what could happen? That's what makes the Premier League and football fun. And so yeah, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoy it. I will be posting every week these predictions for the top 5 leagues and the other European leagues. So next, I will either do La Liga or Serie A, and then after that, I'll go into Liga 1, Bundesliga, so on and so forth. And yeah, so that was my plan with this. So if you want to see that, please leave a like, subscribe, comment what league I should do next, because I'm open to doing any league. And that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time.